Hi there, it's Roldan. It's May 3rd, 2010, and where to begin? Well, I have some thoughts and things that have been somewhat heavy on my heart that I've been wanting to share for some time, and have received some inner instruction, speaking with my guides and angels. And some of you, if this is your first time here, welcome, and if you have been following me for a while, welcome back. But we're about to shift the conversation a little deeper and a little broader. And although I've been writing about my experience over the last 2 or 3 years through On Common Ground, the website, which started out as a blog in the beginning, but then is more of a resource site for people that are on the path of awakening. What I really haven't shared in great detail until now is about the journey that I've been on a metaphysical level. Like, I recently received, as recent as yesterday, a conversation with my guides and angels who helped me do the work and have trust and faith in the process by which I've been able to do my classes and teach the esoteric, such as yoga, qigong, tai chi, meditation, a lot of chakra balancing work, a lot of energy work. I've gone through a lot of profound experiences and changes in my own life that I just never expected, really. And it's been an amazing experience, but it also has been one of great challenge, because a lot of the things that I have been experiencing have been new and not scary, but definitely out of the normal experience, I think, is probably fair to say. And it's basically experiences that involve conversations with non-physical beings, call them angels, call them guardians. I refer to mine as my guides, and angels. There's actually 2 separate guiding factors for me. And a lot of people that have been coming to hear me speak or come to my classes, I share that conversation in terms of the broad, but I haven't really shared, except with a handful of people, exactly my own personal, what has brought me to this point. And I won't go over my life story, we don't have enough time, but I will just share a couple of minutes with you about what happened approximately 9 years ago. I was visited for the first time, completely out of the blue. Was not in a place where I was actually doing meditation. I was actually in New York visiting a friend, and I was at a dance club. And at one point in time in that evening, I closed my eyes in a kind of a lounge room to the side, and I was visited with a vision, with something that I didn't know exactly what it was, but I had a sense, and it wasn't a frightful experience for me. In fact, it was very intriguing, and I ended up being shown something that was future-based, and was amazed at what I saw. It was a kind of an out-of-body experience, and no, I wasn't under, influence of heavy drugs and alcohol. I was actually quite conscious, and was at the point where I was ready to leave the club because I wasn't really having the greatest time, and I was just like, what am I doing here? But when I came back from that experience, it shook me to a foundation, because when they left, they said, "We will be back when the time is right." But they left me with a charge, with a message, and they said they would be back at some point in time in the future. It wasn't for another 3 years before they actually did come back, and I was actually thinking I imagined the whole thing. I wasn't really getting much more. Since that time, here it is in 2010, and actually, gosh, now that I think about it, it's been 10 years, because that was in 2000. Over the last 2 or 3 years, I have had some significant awakenings, and with the clearing of the own stuff that has been holding me back, I have been able to open space and build trust in this relationship. And also I have been exposed to, of course, reading the books and the likes of Abraham Hicks or Sylvia Brown or any of the esoterics that have a conversation. I never considered myself psychic. You know, I never considered myself being able to do that. Certainly been an energetic being, but not as strongly connected. My guides and angels, finally in 2008, when I had a major awakening, I had a long, fortunate conversation with them, and finally I asked them, I said, who are you? I mean, are you the same as what I've been reading about? And in a nutshell, they revealed themselves as the ancients, the originals, and I was like, of what? Of the universe? And they actually revealed themselves as original beings on this planet. And whether or not you know, obviously, you know, whether you believe in the Genesis story of, you know, the Christian Bible, I grew up Catholic, or you believe in other things, you know, there has to be an origin point for all of us being here and for every being, every creature on the planet. And so after a long conversation, and they were sharing me some information, I asked them, I said, well, what would I refer to you as, a name? And they said, for the purpose of our knowing, you may call us Adam. And when I say us, there's an energy of about somewhere between, what I get is about 7 energetic beings coming together to have a conversation with me and with others. I don't feel I'm the only one they're speaking to. But I don't know of anybody else, which is why I'm putting this out there. And they came to visit last night, and they hadn't been around in a while, and we had a very beautiful session. And so the conversation is about to get a little bit deeper. Actually, a lot. There's a lot of stuff that I've been holding back and journaling about and writing, and it's part of, and I've shared it with students and with friends who I've met over the last couple of years. So I have bits and pieces of the stories, because if I didn't put them out there and I was just keeping them to myself, I felt I needed to share those. In fact, you know, about a year ago, I was instructed to begin journaling and writing and preparing the messages that I've been receiving, and during that time receiving acknowledgments in other areas. So if you're here for the first time, like I said, you're here for a reason. There are no accidents, and I do firmly believe that. But we're going to be getting a little deeper, and I'm going to be sharing a little bit more than the broader perspective of what does it mean to be a planet that's waking up. What does it mean to be a race, a human consciousness that is happening through very physical beings on this planet as we're being interacted with those who have come before us and are now over on the other side in the spirit world, and those who have come before us a long time, not just our grandparents and our great-grandparents and so on and so forth. We're talking about thousands upon thousands and perhaps even million years of evolution in terms of the eternal selves of us. So we will begin this series, and I'll be continuing to do the conversation with the general precepts of how energy works and healing works, and shifting our minds and understanding. But just as these conversations online are going to become more and more involved in actually sharing information that I've received and stuff that's already been confirmed that I was receiving 3, 4, 5 years ago, going back all the way to 2000. I hope you will stick with me, and if nothing else, have an open mind and be curious about it. And I would love to have your questions. But it's time for me to step into this role, whatever it is, and I'm not saying anything other than to be able to talk about the bigger picture. That's really what it's about. Right now, a lot of individual conversations, and now pulling it all together. And I hope that you will find it interesting and helpful for those of you who are seeking, because that's just it. You're not going to get it unless you're ready for it. So, but I'm putting it out there. So I'm Roldan, and my guides are Adam or Adam. And yes, there's some humor there, I think. They know I grew up Catholic, but, you know, there we are. All right, well, take care, and we will see you soon. Ciao for now. Bye.